It's Tasha, and I am just adding my submission about Queer Asheville. And I wanted to start and say that I came to Asheville kind of forever as a child. I grew up in Waynesville, and that's only like 20 minutes outside of Asheville, but it seemed like Asheville was this other mythical, mystical place that had all these opportunities, all the diversity that I was missing in my little small town, and just more in general than there was. And when I first started coming to Queer Asheville, I was 18, and it seemed so different than it is now. Then it was full of lights and wonder and like fantastical things that I had never experienced before, and that kind of drew me in to the scene, to the bar scene. And through the bar scene, which is weird and not so weird all at the same time, I found my chosen family. Um, and they are just people who I ran into and had like experiences with, and were just the same as I was, but different. One of my very best friends was the same in the way that we both came from Waynesville, so we knew what that small town was, and that everybody knew your name, and everybody had these other expectations for you, and had already like filled in the picture of your life, regardless of whether or not that was your plan. So in that way, Asheville to me was like this place where I could be my true self, which still kind of stands because my mother threatens me, but that's a different thing. Um, so I was drawn into Queer Asheville, and found this family. And for such a long time, I was looking for something specific out of this chosen family. I was looking for color, really. I was looking for some black people. Like, where are the black gay people? I met three or four, and I knew that there had to be more. That there had to be more gay people, gay black people, than those four people that I met. And all of those people were boys, which was so weird to me because I was a girl, and I was looking for like this queer lesbian of color space, which is not available in Asheville. Or if it is available in Asheville, it's on the way hidden underground, because I've been looking for it for 10 years, 12 years now, and I still haven't found it, which is kind of the MO for Asheville. Like, there's all these queer spaces, but they're so segregated. Everything's like, there's the white gay males who do this and hang out in this space. And then there's the white gay women who hang out in this space and do this. And then there's the trans community who does their own thing. And then there's this Hispanic trans community and a Hispanic gay male community. But I still haven't found the Hispanic female community, or either one of the spaces where male or female, black gay people in Asheville hang out. And I just think it's interesting that I haven't found that space, or that that space doesn't exist, because it's something that's so needed because of the silence in both communities surrounding GLBT issues. Um, like, something that my mother said in passing to me years ago was, black people aren't gay. If you keep hanging out with those gay people, they're going to make you gay, and that is not one of our issues. You have other things to worry about, which is true and false all at the same time. While I do have other things to worry about, this is also something that affects me and is important to me, because as a person of color, I just think that there should be a few more options. Um, Having grown up in this predominantly white space, everything is so foreign to me. Um, Dating didn't happen for me. Like, and I heard a few people say to me, like friends, I suppose, that would say, "Oh, she's really cool. Like, she's a really cool girl, except she's black." Like, except she's black. Like, that's some huge, big, bad problem, which was apparently because there's not this connection between black and gay, or it could be another form of racism, which is something completely different and like way different than queer, but the same all at the same time. So that's my initial experience with Queer Asheville. So in growing up, like in growing into me, into the person that I am right now, um, I've seen the spaces that I frequented change. They've changed from this space where I felt safe and I felt comfortable and I felt protected, um, into this space where now I feel exactly like the giraffe at the zoo, because it's kind of like Queer Asheville has turned into a place where non-queer people can come and kind of see queer people, which turns it into this zoo-like thing, and it's kind of like they're hunting around like, oh look, there's a lesbian. Oh, don't scare her away. It's just interesting. And I've talked to the people who have power or control over these spaces, and they seem to think that their decisions to be more inclusive of a larger community, the Asheville community as a whole, instead of the queer community, is better for everybody. But it seems to me, from where I'm standing, that it's better for them from a business standpoint. And as unqueer as that is, it's absolutely American. So it's kind of pushed off, and it's okay that they've made those choices because it's for the greater good of their pocketbook. Um, there doesn't seem to be much diversity to me in Asheville. Um, I suppose that there's more diversity than a lot of spaces, a lot of places, but it doesn't seem like diverse diversity. Um, the first time that I went out of Asheville in search of queer spaces of color, I went to Gay Pride in Atlanta, and I was 21. They wouldn't let me. My friends wouldn't let me go before that. They said there was no point. But at 21, I remember like walking through Piedmont Park and seeing like hundreds of gay black people, like women, men, trans, and it was so overwhelming to me because for so long it hadn't been a possibility, or there was no visibility, no representation, and there was this structured invisibility that didn't didn't allow you to see around the invisibility to the possibility of um, queer people of color. And I remember my friends were like, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "You don't understand, because from the time I realized that I liked women, that I loved women, that I was gay, there have been no people that look like me, that are like me." And that's such a thing that's taken for granted. And that's such a thing that's taken for granted because privilege doesn't allow you to see through invisibility or through your privilege to what your privilege is hiding or what your privilege is allowing you to participate in without your even having to think about it. Um I've heard of people being harassed in queer Asheville for being queer, but that hasn't been my experience primarily because I believe that people don't see me as queer, or if they do, first they see me as black. So that stops or starts or hinders their ability to see me as queer because they can't get past my blackness, which is interesting. My blackness that hides my queerness because black people aren't queer. I am black and queer.